Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast, the English language on Canal International. And we begin with our top stories. At least 4 individuals have died and 9 others sustained serious injury and are currently receiving treatment in a local hospital. They were involved in an accident that occurred today in Upper Camp Division when a small 9-seater has lost control on a steep hill, colliding with a Carina e-vehicle. Tell you more in this edition of Newscast. I will equally tell you more about La Falaise hill that has become a death trap. And 2 children have lost their lives after consuming a contaminated meal in the village of tous, Bachengo, Mbangante in the West region. 9-year-old Osiang and 6-year-old Ismail died under mysterious circumstances. And the Cliquez Regional Annex Hospital has increasingly becoming a repository for abandoned bodies, raising concerns and questions about why some individuals are leaving their deceased relatives in the morgue. We tell you more in this edition of Newscast. Good evening once more. Tragedy struck once more this morning at the Mumi Chateau neighborhood of Kenkem, Upper Camp Division in the West region of Cameroon, when a small 9-seater has lost control on a steep hill, colliding with a Carina E and pushing it into a ravine. The violent shock claimed the lives of 4 individuals in the Carina E vehicle, while 9 others sustained serious injuries and currently receiving treatments in a hospital. More in the following story with our reporter Saleh Sherifa.
It was at 9 a.m. on July 2, 2024, on a dangerous stretch of road notorious for its narrowness and deteriorating condition, that 2 vehicles collided, leaving 4 persons dead. According to witnesses, the Hias filled with passengers experienced brake failure while descending near Moume Chateau. What saved the Hias was the airbag. They are seriously injured, but no one died. When they witnessed the shock, the airbag came out and protected them. Emergency responders swiftly arrived at the scene, transporting the seriously injured to Aluchem Hospital in Moume and Banka Hospital. Tragically, the driver of the Carina E succumbed to injuries while being treated. The driver of the Hias, visibly distraught, explained that brake failure was the cause of the accident, highlighting the critical need for regular maintenance and road safety awareness. I was descending the hill, and before I could notice, I lost my brakes. While trying to avoid the taxi, I discovered we were on the same track, so it was too late to escape. Residents of Kenkem expressed frustration over the lack of adequate road maintenance and called on public authorities to prioritize infrastructure improvements to prevent future tragedies.
And the recent tragic events on La Falaise Chang or the Chang Cliff in the west region of Cameroon have instilled a fear among travelers. Those who journey to this road experience intense anxiety as they navigate its perilous path. In the following report, you hear from our travelers here in Douala who share their fears, and from drivers who emphasize for the need for concentration while driving on La Falaise Hill. Wonderful story. La Falaise Chang, or the Chang Cliff in the west region of Cameroon, is a route fraught with fear. I'm always gripped with fear when I reach around La Falaise Chang. With so many narrow paths, climbing the hill is not easy. I'm scared when we start climbing the hill.
Juste entendre même le nom falaise.
When you just hear of La Falaise when you're traveling, it creates that panic in you. And even the driver is scared. Usually, what I realize is that when we start climbing, sometimes people sleep out of fear. They don't want to see what is happening. And when we climb, everyone is quiet in the bus. There is absolute tranquility in the bus to allow the driver to concentrate. And the driver usually drives slowly because it's a death trap. With more than 5 sharp turns over several kilometers, the dangers are visible from the deep ravines that skirts the cliff. Drivers cry out. I deploy the attitude of drivers on the highway, be it those driving smaller or bigger vehicles. Some of them drive on high speed. Some of them try to overtake vehicles. It's true that the road too is zigzag, but La Falaise remains a death trap. Once on the road, many witnesses say they hold their breath, relying on the drivers to adopt the bird survival strategy and drive on high speed. Some of them try to overtake people. When drivers are climbing La Falaise, they should be conscious that they are transporting souls. At least they need to go slowly, but it's the contrary for most. Some are tired, some engage in sleep, some sleep, and the least mistake is an accident. Climbing La Falaise. In just 1 week, La Falaise Chang, or the cliff, claims the lives of multiple individuals. The dates of June 25 and July 1, 2024 remain fresh in the memories of those affected. And in Cameroon, road accidents claim at least 1,000 lives annually, despite government's effort to reinforce road safety measures, while only a fraction of vehicles undergoing regular safety inspections and a rising number of accidents. Experts call for more stringent measures. More with our reporter Gladys Ambodiban, who has been talking with some experts in Douala. Her story.
According to road safety experts, out of every 500 vehicles on Cameroon's roads, only about 30 undergo regular safety inspections, which should be a routine practice.
We've noticed that road users often neglect their safety. Regular vehicle inspections required by the state are rarely done as they are seen as a burden. These inspections should be a safety habit. Those who do get their vehicles inspected should also maintain regular checks due to poor road conditions. However, these inspections should not encourage high speed.
An estimated 16,000 accidents are reported annually in Cameroon, resulting in at least 1,000 fatalities. These accidents are often caused by high speed, improper maneuvers, and driver fatigue. Despite government's efforts to enhance road safety, the number of accidents continue to rise, with recent incidents in Gomo and Limbe highlighting the issue.
Le ministre dit bien on sanctionne les chauffeurs.
The minister promises to penalize reckless drivers and require them to complete road safety training. Typically, drivers suspended for 3 months must take this course. Accidents are mainly caused by high speed, dangerous overtaking, poor maneuvers, and driver fatigue.
Road safety experts advocate for the implementation of more stringent measures by the government.
The state should be more involved in road safety by effectively incorporating law enforcement. The accident at Ngomo on the Yaoundé-Bafoussam highway happened in an area without road markings. We've suggested the government use thermoplastic markings, which last 4 years and can be renewed for up to 6 years. This will be more cost-effective.
The economic impact of road accidents is significant, with the state reportedly losing approximately 200 billion francs annually, equivalent to about 2% of the country's GDP.
And we talk something else now. 2 children have lost their lives after eating or consuming contaminated meal in the village of tous, Bachengu, Mbangante, in the west region of Cameroon. 9-year-old Osiang and 6-year-old Ismail died under mysterious circumstances last Sunday after eating what is believed to be a toxic meal. More with our reporter Gladys Ambo Tiba.
The two children, Oseang 9 and her 6-year-old brother, Ismail, were spending the holidays with their grandmother in Bachingu, a few kilometers away from Bangua in the West region, when they met their end. The two children, with 4 others, consumed banana fritters prepared by their 15-year-old elder sister when they subsequently experienced stomach pain and passed away. Their grandmother explaining with her voice trembling in shock.
I was not aware that the children had made banana fritters. After eating the fritters, Ismail became ill with stomach ache and headache, later vomiting and being rushed to the hospital. Ocean also complained of a headache and became unresponsive. Despite being taken to the hospital, Ocean passed away.
Following the deaths of the two children, Ismail's mother and the others who tested the fritters began to show symptoms of severe discomfort. They are currently receiving intensive care at the Bangua hospital, where doctors are working tirelessly to stabilize their situation.
I was told that the children found black items in the flour taken from their grandmother's house. After sieving the flour and making fritters, they experienced stomach aches. Bicarbonate did not alleviate their discomfort. The flour used to make the fritters was reportedly contaminated. 5 children ate the fritters, 2 died, and 3 are hospitalized on oxygen. My child was spending the holidays there and had to leave from there to Kongsamba.
Ocean's grandparents, who were not present at the time, are in a state of shock and disbelief upon hearing the news.
The news of Ocean's passing reached me around 9 p.m. Devastated, I cried out, asking if it was an accident. My heart sank when I learned she and her brother had died after eating fritters. The following day, we left for Bangua, heavy with grief.
The bodies of the 2 children have been kept at the Bangante District Hospital.
And the Kribi Regional Annex Hospital has increasingly become a repository for abandoned bodies, raising concerns and questions why some people are leaving their deceased relatives in the morgue. The worrying problem has sparked concern among residents and has led to investigation into the underlying causes of the problem. The Kribi Regional Annex Hospital has lately become more than a medical facility. It is now a grim repository for abandoned bodies.
Some corpses are victims of accidents who are not identified. Sometimes there are some people who are abandoned by their family.
This worrying trend has sparked concern among local residents and has led to an investigation into the underlying causes that drive people to leave their loved ones unclaimed in the hospital morgue. Janot Abeng, a resident of Kribi, shared his perspective on the matter. The stigma surrounding death and mourning, familial conflicts, and a lack of social and familial support can also lead to bodies being abandoned in the morgue. He explains.
It could be a financial problem, or better still, family problems. It becomes tough when it's family problem because we will have different groups from the family fighting over the corpse and except.
Local photographer Jerome also highlighted the significance of community awareness. It is crucial to educate the public on the importance of dignified care for the deceased, regardless of the circumstances, he cried out. Jerome also emphasized the need for support systems to assist grieving families, aiming to prevent such distressing situations from occurring. The abandonment of bodies at the hospital reflects deeper social issues that need addressing. It underscores the necessity for a community-driven approach to ensure that every deceased individual receives the respect and care they deserve, while providing necessary support to families in their time of grief. And the 11th member of the Constitutional Council, Florence Rita Array, takes the oath before Parliament during the Congress this Tuesday in Yaoundé, reappointed by the presidential decree last April 2, alongside the 10 others who took their oaths during the 3rd Congress of Parliament last January 18, 2024. The 76-year-old pioneer member of the Constitutional Council could not be part of the oath taken last June 2nd, 2024 due to other engagements. The ceremony before the full House of Parliament, that is, the National Assembly and the Senate, was characterized by the lone speech by the President of the Congress and the House Speaker Kabaye Yegre Jibril, accompanied during the proceeding by the President of the Senate, Marcel Nyat Jifendi, her rich national and international career as judge, her potential as member of Cameroon's Constitutional Council.
I thank God. I thank God for this opportunity that He has given me to serve my country in the capacity of member of the Constitutional Council. I'm going to do my work just as I've done all through my career, both nationally and internationally. That is according to the law and my conscience. And I wish all people who have political office in the Cameroon, all people who hold office, public office, who have to make decisions, that God should give them the wisdom to make good decisions so that there will be peace, progress and security in the country. I love my country very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
A word in French.
And activities in line with the 5th anniversary of the state-owned newspaper, Cameroon Tribune, is ongoing in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Time to evaluate the past covers, her editorial time, and also flashback of that fateful day of the very first edition on July 1, 1974. More on that with our reporter, Beatrice Ngamu.
One of the pioneer, first deputy coordinator of the newsroom and head of the English desk of Cameroon Tribune in 1974 is Shea Peter Mabo. Having left the School of Journalism as an Anglophone to work with a public that was typical Francophone, they had to work extremely hard.
The first task of seeing that they say the correct thing in their first foreign language was not an easy thing for the publisher.
Their efforts all through to remain patriotic in their stewardship, correct and objective information without being sensational.
If there is an accident and you go to cover it and you find out what caused that accident, if the man lost his brakes, tell the public that the accident occurred because the driver was either too fast, he lost his brakes and things like that. Be very, very objective. 50
years in Cameroon Tribune, time to give back. This book with articles selected between 1974 to 2024.
You were able to see the degree of freedom of the press that Cameroon was enjoying at that time. There's one chapter there, breaking eggs for no omelette.
Be it back then, July 1974, with the coordinator of the newsroom, Jacques Pamdongo, Shea Peter Mabo, his deputy, and today, the editorial line, the same.
We know print is more dangerous than TV and radio. Tomorrow, our children might judge us on what we write, so we make sure what we write is what is true.
In this digital age, Cameroon Tribune says they are waxing strong.
One of the strategies is that we are online also. A newspaper, we have the electronic version, also have subscribers.
The long path and challenges, the center of the 50th anniversary activities.
There's a lot of competition, and I think that you are doing a good job with the leadership of your director, Madame Claire Nana.
The people and names that has run the press organ in the past 50 years on display via photo exhibition.
And to reflect on the legal frameworks impacting companies, the Organization for Harmonization of Business Law in Africa, OHADA, has convened in Douala with participants from various regions across Cameroon with the aim to foster deeper understanding and application of the OHADA's regulations and business practices, focusing on the uniform acts of the organization. More on that story with our reporter, Saleh Sherifa.
They are representatives from diverse sectors gathered this July 2, 2024 in Douala for a comprehensive exploration of OHADA's Uniform Acts, which standardize business laws across member states in Africa. The workshop provided a platform for legal experts, business leaders, and government officials to discuss the practical implications of OHADA's legal instruments on corporate governance and economic development.
The innovations we have today in OHADA are key to determinant to attract investors into the region. And it works alongside with the African Continental Free Trade Agreements. So mastering OHADA is a key to practice for not only legal practitioners, but as well investors who want to come in.
Facilitators emphasized the importance of legal harmonization in promoting regional integration and attracting foreign investment. They highlighted the role of OHADA in providing a legal framework that fosters economic growth and stability across member countries.
Investors want is if I invest my money and it goes wrong, can I recover it? And that's the theme of this seminar today, and it's a turning point in terms of business. If you can provide security to investors, then definitely they'll be flocking around, knocking your door every day.
Participants expressed optimism about implementing the insights gained into their respective organizations and advocating for broader adoption of OHADA's Uniform Act nationwide.
And that's how we saw it on this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal the International. Thanks so much for watching. But coming up next is The Brief with Lil Piju. As for me, I will be back same time, but this time around tomorrow. Good night.